And then the question of how the children are cared for. Many parents are, obviously all parents are particularly concerned. Who's going to look after my child? How are they going to be cared for? So boarding schools in the UK have a boarding house system. It's like a family. So the housemaster or the housemistress is like your father or your mother, usually called a house parent nowadays. And then there are usually younger teachers who live in, who are more like brothers and sisters to your child. And they're helped to settle in very carefully. And, the house parent is, really like a second parent, and will care for your child and settle them in. I've talked already a bit about percentage of international students. I personally would say that 20 to 30% of international students is quite a good percentage to look out for, so that your child will pick up their English, but they're also sympathetically cared for, because that's important. It's a huge culture shock to live away from home for the first time, especially in another country. And I think if your child is maybe a bit shy, maybe not great English, not necessarily a good idea to put them into a school with very few international students, because they're not going to magically change. It might be easier in that respect for your child to spend a term or a year in a study centre or an international school as a stepping stone into a mainstream school. So obviously you're going to want to you're going to want to find out who is the person, who is the house parent, who is going to look after your child in the boarding house. You're going to want to talk to that person and know that you can communicate with them easily by email or Zoom or Skype, whatever. Most schools have a parents' portal where you can go online and you can look at your child's reports and photos of your child and what they're doing. And again, the move online, which has been speeded up by coronavirus, is actually a good thing, because things like parents' meetings are now online, which never used to be, and you can talk to your child's teachers online. And keep in touch with what's happening. But having said all that, you need to find the right level of communication and not overdo it. In terms of supporting your child from afar, so far I've been talking about choosing a school for your child. But by the time you've got to the point of actually making the decision, you also need to be thinking about what this decision is going to mean for you, rather than just your child, because probably it's you, not your child, who will suffer most in the first few weeks. You will feel lonely and you'll be missing your child and wondering what they're doing. And you need to prepare yourself for those feelings and have a game plan about how you're going to cope without your child. Because you are not going to help your child at this time if you phone them a lot and you're obviously upset yourself. You need to act cheerfully, however you really feel, so that they can settle in. And try not to worry if you don't hear much from your child. You'll hear soon enough if they're unhappy. So it's important to get that balance right between supporting your child and making it harder for them to settle in. And I suppose what I'm really saying is that once you have found the right place for your child, you need to prepare yourself for a drop in communication during the school term.